Welcome to Raspberry Pi Land. This is Frank Coe, and I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking to you about how to get the Raspberry Pi set up. The Raspberry Pi that we have from our school is this one here. It is set up without a hardware attachment. It happens to be put into a little case. We can get into the pins for the camera and the GPIO pins simply by removing the cover. Most important of all is the slot for the micro SD card. The micro SD card contains the software that runs the computer. So what I suggest is we will be getting together with all our friends on Monday to clone my micro SD card. That'll save us a lot of download time. For right now, I'm going to boot up the Raspberry Pi, and I boot this up by turning on the power to the Raspberry Pi. Power is connected through a micro SD, HDMI micro connector. HDMI connector is here, USB connector is here for my corded keyboard, and the mouse that I'm using is a cordless mouse. I also demonstrated in previous Monday a wireless keyboard, and that also works very nicely. So the boot up sequence is really simple. Just turn the guy on, give it some power, right here, okay, and that's got some power, and then the monitor shows this really nice color mosaic for a moment, and it'll go through its boot sequence. So there you go, it shows that, and Raspberry Pi logo, and then another Raspberry Pi screen. And then it'll be about another 40 seconds and it'll come up with the desktop. So the Raspberry Pi that I happen to have here, two of my own, happen to have the Sense hats already fastened. The micro SD card that runs the program fits into this slot down here. And your HDMIs are set up here, and the sound port, USBs are set up here, Ethernet connector is there. So here is our desktop. And with the desktop, I can go to demonstrate very quickly. Click here, programming. This is what you've seen before in the previous Monday. Different kinds of software that we can use. You are familiar with the Python 3 idle. Don't need to show you that. I've also shown you this before, that the Linux has for the Raspberry Pi an office suite called Libre, and then they have their equivalent of Word and their equivalent of Excel. We can get onto the internet, and with the internet, I can go to Chromium web browser, and with the Chromium web browser in a moment, I'll be able to get onto YouTube and be able to play anything we want, sound and video, through our monitor. So let me go ahead and click on YouTube. Give that a moment to come up. In the meantime, two teams of our classmates have already acquired the Raspberry Pis. That would be Team Charlie. James and Jacqueline have their Pi, and Team Foxtrot, which would be Paul Lind, Nicholas Tong, and Thuan Vong, also already have their Pi up and running. And if you take a look at Discord, you can see the videos that they've uploaded demonstrating that. And if I wanted to go to, now keep in mind, yes, this is a full-blown computer. It doesn't have quite the speed and processing power of your regular PCs, but this is really quite remarkable for a computer on a chip. And let's see if I go ahead and click something here. Let's see if we can get anything going. And we'll be, and you can use any size monitor that you happen to have in your
I used to think
repertoire.
Thanksgiving was stressful, and then I discovered Harry and David. Now
So
it's my
yes,
favorite thing.
The coolest gift baskets.
there you go. Yes, it does run, and YouTube is there, and life is good. Yeah, pretty nice. Anyway, so next Monday, I look forward to working with you all on your Raspberry Pis. If more of you can acquire the Raspberry Pis between now and next Monday, great. And for those teams that have not been able to acquire the Raspberry Pis yet, we do have a few of these in our lab that we can be loaning you the use of for the lab period. And with that, we look forward to working with you this next week on our Raspberry Pis. Yay, programming. There we go. Look at that. Python. Wonderful. See ya. Adios.